Welcome back to the channel for something a little bit different today. I wanted to do something just for a bit of fun. This thread has been around for quite a while now. I've seen a lot of channels do this, talking about bands that they cannot stand. And I just thought it would be a bit of fun. Anybody who's been watching my videos over the years will know that I'm pretty positive when it comes to music. I've got more than enough negativity that's gone on in my life that I don't need to bring that into this sort of stuff. Having said that, I did think that this would be quite a fun one to do because it's just a bit of fun. I don't hate any of these bands. It's more likely that if somebody mentioned one of these bands, I'd just go, eh. Which, you know, I don't know how you title that, you know what I mean? So, strangely enough, the first band that sprang to mind when I thought of doing this, when I actually started going through their songs, I realised that I do actually quite like this band, and I've actually reconsidered them. So make sure you stay till the end for that band, and I'll tell you who that was. But for now, my first pick, these are in no order by the way, is Van Halen, or as I call them, Dave Lee Roth is a twat. That's pretty much my issue with this band. I'm well aware of their legacy. I'm well aware of their influence. Eddie Van Halen in particular, not only his virtuistic guitar histrionics, but the tone, you know, that 5150, that dirty, heavy crunch that pretty much inspired every player that I love from the 80s and 90s onwards to just get heavier and, you know, heavier. More than aware of the legacy, totally respect them for it, but David Lee Roth can just do one. I cannot stand the guy. I really can. Every time I see him in interviews, just makes me cringe. I'm well aware he's very talented. He's very charismatic in his way. He's very intelligent as well. I know he's very intelligent, but I just can't abide the guy. As soon as I hear his voice, I just cannot stand it. I like a lot of the music, but I just cannot stand David Lee Roth. So yeah, that's my first one. This next one might be a bit more controversial because it is Anthrax. I want to love this band. I want to love Anthrax. They're the only band in the big four that I never got into. I'm an unapologetic lover of Metallica. I know it's a common thing to hate on Metallica and slag them off. I don't care. I love Metallica. I always have. I always will. Slayer are not far behind Metallica in my eyes. Love that band. Megadeth, 50-50. What's good is good. What's not is not. But Anthrax, I've just never got into them. I cannot get into them. I wish I could. Scott Ian, every time I see him in interviews, great guy. Frank Bello on bass, amazing guy. Charlie Benante doing an absolutely fantastic job with Pantera. But I just can't get into them. I've tried so many times. I love the riff from I Am the Law, Caught in a Mosh, you know what I mean? Thing is with music, it needs to, I'm trying not to hit the microphone, it needs to hit the heart. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, it just doesn't. I wish it did, but it didn't. So yeah, Anthrax. Next up is Jane's Addiction. And this is another one where it's the front man who I just have the issue with. I've never taken to Perry Farrell. I mean, to be fair, it's just not the sort of music I've ever been able to get into. It just does nothing for me. It just doesn't grab me at all. Dave Navarro's a very, very talented guitar player. Seems like a genuinely cool dude as well, actually, in all the interviews that I've seen of him. I don't really know too much about the rest of the guys. I've tried getting into their stuff a few times, tried listening to it. It just doesn't grab me. I don't know why. Of course, we've had the recent outbursts of Perry Farrell going for Dave Navarro on stage lately. I don't know. He just seems like the sort of person I just don't dig at all. So, you know, completely aware that they're a very talented band, great musicians, but it just does absolutely nothing for me. Next up, another one that's, I got a feeling some people will agree, some people won't. Exodus. I love the riffs. Love Gary Holt. Amazing in Slayer, you know what I mean? He's a riff demon. I love that, but this all comes down to the vocals, that sort of high-pitched, kind of bratty style of vocal. It's just always kind of made me wince. Their latest album, was it Persona Non Grata? That's some really good songs on it, but again, it's just the vocals that kind of just stop me listening to it as much as I'd like. Completely appreciate the riffs, completely respect it. I'm well aware of their importance on thrash, and I would, much like Anthrax, I'd love to love them, but I just don't. I've tried a number of times and it just ain't happening for me. This next one's a bit easier. The Offspring. Shit band. I fucking hate them. Is it Low Self-Esteem? I thought that was an okay track, but the rest of it is just so... Oh, the look, the aesthetic, everything about them, I just don't, I can't. I just can't. I could never, if I'd never hear Pretty Fly for a fucking white guy ever again in my life, I'll be happy. I don't have much more to say. I can't stand the Offspring. Fuck them. Next up, we have Aerosmith. I know what a big band they are, and I know they had some great rocking tunes, some great rocking albums back in the day. Dream On, fucking amazing song. But there's so much of it, just does nothing for me. Steven Tyler as well is another one of those frontmen I've never taken to. Joe Perry seems like, you know, totally cool guy, great guitar player, you know, just that real cool rock and roll. You know, obviously a big inspiration to people like Slash, etc. Yeah, I've never felt it with that band. You know what I mean? I find them a very difficult band to enjoy. Again, another one of those bands completely aware of their legacy and their influence on so many people, but they've just never made any sense to me. I can't get into them. Next up, we have Motley Crue. I was always a thrash kid growing up. Thrash and, you know, groove metal was my sort of segue into heavier music. But that's got nothing to do with why I don't like Motley Crue. Of course, there was a rivalry between the thrash and the glam bands. In fact, thrash was a bit of a reaction to glam in many ways. And I think thrash has kind of stood, you know, it's kind of stood taller in many ways. It's kind of remained more relevant because so much of the lyrics and the subject matter was actually about, you know, things that are, you know, a bit more real life and, you know, things that are still relevant to this day. Having said that, I don't dislike glam at all. You know, Poison, Warrant, Rat, you know, they all had songs that I kind of enjoyed, but for some reason Motley Crue I just never got into. It's just so vapid and so, you know, so meaningless to me. It just doesn't do anything. Maybe it's because they were also kind of more on the heavier side in many ways. They had that kind of satanic imagery on their first album or so, and maybe that's why I feel kind of more like I should be into it, but I just don't. Nikki Sixx has always seemed just someone I just don't take to at all. Tommy Lee just seems like quite frankly a bit of an idiot. Vince Neil is an embarrassment live now. Mick Mars has always seemed like quite a good dude. I know that guy has all gone through all sorts of shit through his life in terms of physical pain that he's been going through, and he's a pretty sick guitar player as well, actually, to be fair, so I give props to him. But the rest of the band have just never been able to take to that vapid nature of it. It just, I can't get into it. It just seems so empty to me, you know what I mean? It doesn't offer anything. So yes, my 7th pick is Motley Crue, and that brings us on to Pearl Jam. This is another band that I'd like to like. I mean, 10 was a great album. There were some great songs on that, but they're just one of those bands that I just never really took to. I've tried a number of times and it just doesn't really do anything for me, their music. They have very much that whinging, whining quality to a lot of the music. And I can't listen to it. It just does nothing for me. It doesn't inspire me. You know, a lot of the music I like, it inspires me in some way or another, whether a lot of the heavy stuff I like, it inspires me to move, inspires me to get up and do things. And a lot of, you know, then the more melancholy stuff, it really speaks to the inner me. But for some reason, Pearl Jam, I've never got them, never quite enjoyed them. A couple of good tracks off of 10. I really don't enjoy talking shit about bands. You know what I mean? It seems somewhat It just seems bad talking shit about somebody who's put their, you know, their heart and soul into something. And Pearl Jam definitely seem like one of those bands. I think they really are an artistic band. They really do mean everything they say, and that means a lot, especially in you know, sort of the hard rock side of things. But yeah, they're just a band that I never took to. Okay, I'm going to give myself a bit of an easy one here, and this is out of the hard rock realm, and that's Coldplay. This is more Chris Martin. I just cannot stand that. Oh, the you know, everything's just there, everything's fluffy and lovely, and hey guys, just, you know, let's just have a really swell time, kind of. Fuck off. They had a couple of good, you know, their first couple of albums were actually pretty damn good, and they've definitely done some good songs here and there, but overall I just find them unbelievably insufferable. I cannot. Yeah, they're just about, I really cannot stand them. I know recently, was it at Glastonbury? I think they had Michael J. Fox come out, and that was a great moment, but the fact that Chris Martin was there just kind of ruined the whole thing. It was just, oh my God, just fuck off. Like I said, the first couple of albums they did actually had some really great songs on there. They had something really special going on, and they just kind of get more boring as they go on, and just so tepid. Ugh, it just, fuck off Coldplay. It just, fuck off Coldplay, just fuck off. And lastly, or at least for this particular video, like I said, I could probably come out with some more of these, enough for a second video quite easily. But the last on this list today is Marilyn Manson. Now, obviously, I know there's been all sorts of crap going on with him over the last couple of years. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. You know, some of the interviews that you've seen and some of the shit that goes on, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Having said that, innocent until proven guilty. And taking all that out of it anyway, I've never been a fan of Marilyn Manson. For some reason, it just never meant anything to me. Really, again, that kind of sleazier side of things, that debauched. Maybe that's what it is with so many bands. It's kind of similar to Motley Crue. It's just something that I've never really respected. You know, the drug-taking slut, male or female, has never meant anything to me. I mean, all artists are self-indulgent to a certain extent, and they're all, and I guess once you make it to a certain level, there's always an element of being incredibly spoilt and just getting your own way, but he's always just seemed like that to me. That really self-indulgent, narcissistic, cruel in many ways, you know. I mean, I know he's a very intelligent guy. I remember seeing him on the, you know, the Bowling for Columbine video where he defended himself against the Columbine shootings. And he actually did it very intelligently. He did it very well. I see him in interviews and he does come across as a very intelligent guy, but there's also I don't know, he doesn't seem like a good person to know, you know what I mean? Yeah, Marilyn Manson. Just another one I cannot stand. So if you're interested in me doing a second video, then let me know. I'll see how popular this one is. But at the beginning of this video, I said that there was a band that I'd actually reconsidered. And that band is Kiss. I was very shocked with this, very shocked. As soon as I thought of doing this thread, 10 bands I fucking hate, the first band that sprung to mind was Kiss. And I actually went back and listened to some of the music, and I was actually like, you know what, this is actually pretty good. Gene Simmons is a dick. Paul Stanley can be tough to like. I've never liked him as a frontman particularly. But having said that, I saw them live at Donington 96 and they put on one hell of a show. And there's a lot of their songs I kind of dig. I can't deny it. You know, I thought this would be an easy one for me. And yeah, it's been quite the opposite. I actually, was the song Lick It Up, Lick It Up, oh, oh, oh. I've had that song in my head for days. Yeah, and not in a bad way either. It's been great. I was going on earlier about the vapid nature of like Motley Crue and stuff like that, but for some reason it doesn't. I like Kiss a lot more than I thought I did. I was actually kind of surprised. I wanted to put them as the first band, but the more I just sort of thought about it, I thought, you know what, actually I can't do that. I'd just be lying. And also I'm well aware of just how influential Ace Frehley was in particular. I mean, Kiss as a whole is one of those bands that so many of the bands that I love were influenced by. The amount of times I've heard in an interview somebody saying they picked up a guitar because of seeing Ace Frehley on the cover of Kiss Alive. I've heard that story so many damn times. I mean, the same could be said for Van Halen, you know, Eddie Van Halen. But yeah, I just found, I found as I was going through some of their songs again, it's like, you know, actually, I can't deny it. I actually think some of this is pretty damn good. So yeah, there you go. One band that I thought was going to be on the list and completely reconsidered. So let me know what your hated bands are, and also if there's any that you've kind of thought were bad that, you know, you've had a chance to reconsider as well. So if you made it this far in the video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you comment, because it really does help to boost the videos and boost the channel. And if you want more, just let me know. And well, there's going to be more anyway. So I'll see you later. Again, struggling to end the video.